What's the hottest thing a guy can say during X? Saying positive things about you with a voice full of desire. You drive me crazy. You look so good like this. I've been waiting for this all day. I had a partner go, "Woo-ah, girl, slow down," while I was on top. In the moment it was very hot, but also makes me giggle anytime I think about it because I watched him say the same thing to a horse. Edit. I don't know what condone means. Edit. Bestiality is a no-no, but I see where I went wrong with the phrasing. Once had a man absolutely rock my world, and then when I started to move to get up he growled, "I'm not done," right near my ear. Hot face. Not actual words, but when they're loudly moaning and whimpering flushed like, "Yes, please show me how good it feels." When he's just touching, admiring my body and says, "God, I fucking love you," when he does low grunts, groans, especially when I slide down onto him. When he says he is gonna basically anything showing he is genuinely really enjoying himself, lol. Not really what he said, but a sound he made. I heard him whimper once and I found out something new about myself, lol. According to my ex, it's not the words, "Oh geez." Rub ussy juice on her forehead and whisper, "Simba." Compliments such as, "You're so hot, beautiful, amazing," etc. Especially if you fast, just tell me it's because I'm just so hot that you couldn't help it. Then I'm flattered and you don't have to be embarrassed about it. If it's not casual ex, saying, "I love you so much," absolutely sends me. I am a dude that has ex with women, but one thing I did is switched my language from, "I'm going to to, "You're going to make me and that's been a positive change. I have been trying to make a similar change. From, "I'm turned on," to, "You turn me on," etc. I'm gonna and you can feel the ick squeeze. It's hot ASF. I end up finishing around the same time cause it's a pleasure for them to finish inside saluting face. I got this tip off of Reddit. God, I love ucking you, and I wish I could *uck you forever. Shivers. Phew. I really like when my husband checks in. ID's literally just, "You like that," but it's all deep and sexy because he's into it. And if I respond yes, then, obviously, eggs him on and it gets even better. Sometimes though it's a no and we change it up, which is also great. Communication is the hottest, y'all. My ex would go down and always say, "I love the way you taste. I can eat you all day. Also, you are so wet. I love how good you feel." The two hottest things a guy has ever said to Mettering ex were, "Good girl. After I came," and "You feel so good." I don't know what the hottest thing to say would be, but I can tell you that inexplicably blurting out, "Delicioso," in an Italian accent is not it. My now wife had a good humor about it, but definitely killed the mood immediately. This thread is making me both giggly and orny. AskReddit is orny today, I see. I'm not stopping till you and meaning it. I've only met one or two men like this. I hope they're doing well, wherever they are. Do you have any idea what you ucking do to me, after a lot of messing around and teasing weary? When my wife gets close I command her to for mean, it usually sends her over the edge. My girl loves when I whisper in her ear. She melts when I say, "The 100 Years' War was one of the most significant conflicts of the Middle Ages. For 116 years, interrupted by several truces, 5 generations of kings from 2 rival dynasties fought for the throne of the dominant kingdom in Western Europe. The war's effect on European history was lasting. Both sides produced innovations in military technology and tactics, including professional standing armies and artillery, that permanently changed warfare in Europe. Chivalry, which had reached its height during the conflict, subsequently declined. Stronger national identities took root in both countries, which became more centralized and gradually rose as global powers. The term, 100 Years' War, was adopted by latter historians as a historiographical periodization to encompass related conflicts, constructing the longest military conflict in European history. The war is commonly divided into 3 phases separated by truces: the Edwardian War, 1337 to 1360, the Caroline War, 1369 to 1389, and the Lancastrian War, 1415 to 1453. Each side drew many allies into the conflict, with English forces initially prevailing. However, the French forces under House of Valois ultimately retained control over the Kingdom of France, and the French and English monarchies, previously intertwined, thereafter remained separate. Gets her every time. As an AI language model, I am not programmed to engage in sexually explicit content or inappropriate suggestive language. It is important to always communicate with respect and consent during sexual activities. ChatGPT is so hot. My BF once paused while eating me out and said, Utah stays so ucking good, while looking my straight in the eyes and then, without skipping a beat, went straight back to it. Absolutely nothing at all. Mouth on Ussie. I am blessed with a man who is a fantastic dirty talker. I love ucking you so much. You take my ock so well. Good girl. You want me to make your little Ussie and most importantly, I love you so much, baby. At climax, all send me over the edge and make me brain dead lol. Loudly crying. This whole thread is just 90% of people saying the most generic joke, while the other 10% are actually giving pretty good answers. Good girl. You look so pretty while you take me, you feel so good. I said, take it for me, and her inside started moving like a massage chair. I can't stop, OMG. In a LDR with BF. Once, he visited and we were finally doing the deed. He slipped inside me, moaned, and growled in my ear, God, I've missed you. Hot face, I still think about that. The fact that he even makes noises and talks during X is so hot. I went from almost total silence during X with my ex to exquisite dirty talk. Take notes, gentlemen, silence is not hot. I once had a guy give me lots of compliments leading up to X. You're so hot, your its are incredible. How can someone look so good, etc. Then, while going down on me he paused for a moment, and when I looked down he was just staring Ginto my *Gina. I asked what he was doing and he said, you have the prettiest *Gina I've ever seen. As someone with a praise kink I was DONEFOR. This was months ago and I'm still riding the high. To make it even better he had such a cute accent so the compliment sounded that much better. After I had one of the best RGASMS of my life from him going down on me he looked at me again and said, well, I'm very hard right now. UGHHH one of the best sexual experiences I've ever had. Being enthusiastic about pleasuring your partner and letting them know is the hottest thing there is. It's all ogre now. I did the dishes and folded the laundry. Works for me wife. So anyways, I started blasting. I want a dude to tell me how beautiful I am while I ride him. One time as a genuine reaction I had a girl laying on her back with her legs spread and I slid my hands down her body and said, oh my god you're sucking pretty. She went crazy. You are mine. My husband was going down on me and when I got close, I covered my mouth to keep quiet, habit from living in an apartment. Without moving his head from between my legs he reached up, yanked my hand away and said, don't you dare keep quiet, I want to hear you. Instant earth-shattering RGASM. Basically anything. Men tend to be quiet during X and it honestly *izzes me off. But my personal favorite are little dirty phrases peppered in there and there. Had a boyfriend that would say things like, why are you so wet, while fingering me. Then he'd go back to the task at hand. Didn't linger on it or make a whole storyline, but at the moment it was super hot. Men groaning or moaning is a personal favorite. Men, PSA, we love some noise during X. It does a lot for us. As he's telling me how he adores everything about me and loves me he adds baby I love it when you am on my ick as he pushes it deeper yep works every time. Say, we certainly are doing it. Yes, ma'am. Dying it very well indeed. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Me trying to go down on her. I'm not very clean today. Me. You will be when I get done. Shish. While covering her mouth to keep her quiet edit. Didn't think PPL would notice this one lol. Honestly, loud, shameless moaning. I love it when men just lose themselves and not care about holding back vocally. They don't even need to say words. I just want them to moan like, well, like a whir. Sorry, I don't really know how else to describe it. Big fan of praise with a just touch of degradation. You look so pretty with my ock in your mouth. You take it like such a good girl. Let me hear you when you fire. Making growling noises is hot. But since the question is about actually saying something then calling my name in a low voice. But anything they say in general that is letting me know that they are enjoying our time together I shot, especially if it is in a low whispery voice. What is a dead giveaway of a toxic relationship? When they say we need to work on our communication, but every time you bring anything up they get Madonna start an argument. Break up, make up, break up, make up, rinse, Andre Pete. No communication and everything is a blame game with no acceptance of responsibility. Lack of trust and constant fights. My 57-year-old colleague constantly has to send videos and pics of him working to his wife. Inability to take a step back, listen and analyze the other person's point and actually come to a conclusion during a conflict. Someone who does not let you have a life outside of the relationship and gets upset when you see friends or do hobbies you like, even if you make time for them. Gaslighting. Or the idea that whatever you say can make them mad, so you start choosing every word way too carefully, end up not speaking your mind to avoid a fight. One partner always gets their way. For me, it was easier to bend over backward than to deal with the whining and complaining if I stood my ground. Easier is in quotes because it was only easier in the short term, long term made life hell. Being yelled at, attacked for reacting to their abusive behavior. Driving home from work, you take a detour so the drive lasts longer. Edit. I see a lot of comments about this kind of relationship with an ex. I'm glad some of you are out. For the rest of you in this cycle, don't know what to tell you, but major hugs. If someone is always talking rap about their partner whenever they are not together. I've seen this far too many times, it's always ended in total disaster within a few years at most. Lack of autonomy. Things like having to vet every little thing you do with a partner, being isolated from outside relationships and not self-actualizing outside of the context of part of a couple. There is usually a power imbalance or at the very least an unhealthy level of codependency. If you find yourself feeling alone in the relationship. My ex once pulled out a diary that she wanted to show me to be open about her thoughts and lay them all on the table. It was legit a full list of all the things she hated about me, written in the most deep and depressing way. About my career, lack of motivation, lack of communication, and how she doesn't find me unattractive. Her depression, that was my fault. It was the most deeply hurtful words written in a paragraph, conscribed in such a way that would not paint her as a bad person for saying plus tears. I get I was going through a bad patch back then, as many were after COVID. But ucking hell, looking back, nobody should ever treat someone like that. End of the day, I was a 23-year-old with flaws, and W is still managing to hold our relationship together. We were okay. 3 months after we break up, I get offered a promotion within my company. 5 months after that, Idjit offered another huge promotion. I went from £12K to £25K to £30K to tilde £55K all within the last 18 months. I haven't changed one bit either. Still. 25 years. Would never usually flex, but I'm proud and the proof is in the paycheck. I'm moving home, going skiing, spending time with mates. My life is good. Turns out those words were a load of hit. Lack of friends on one side. I've known a couple people, who one of them wouldn't be allowed to hobby friends. Their only friends were the friends of their partner. Massive red flag. They won't let me, let you. ETA, I am not referring to times when one is using the other to get out of something. Nor am I referring to completely reasonable, let's, like owning a pet that can't be sustained or an obnoxious behavior being prohibited at designated times. I'm referring to, won't let me talk to so. And so, won't let me wear XYZ, won't let me see family, won't let me go out, that kind of let nota completely reasonable let. The whatabouts in the comments are, honestly, frustrating me. The prompt is about toxic relationships. My let is referring to toxic relationships. So the comments being like, what about this totally healthy context, is just, grr. Please use your best judgment. That's all I ask. Calling each other babe way too much. Getting multiple vasectomies. Throwing a Dundee at the plasma TV. One person does all of the work, cooking, chores, shopping, maintenance, childcare, yet the other person continues to complain Thathy don't do it right. If his wedding vows include the phrase, keep my belly full and my alls empty, edit. Here's the article and videos, post, groom's disgusting wedding vows, red flags, amp. If you find yourself putting in more effort more often into the relationship. Whenever you bring up some issues you're having, they make you feel bad for sharing how you feel. They weaponize X. Edit, when I say weaponize X, I mean that they use *X as a way of control, and yes, I am well aware. Both men and women do this. If you have to wait until your SO is in a good mood to bring up a problem you have in the relationship, get out ASAP. We had a friend who would not speak until after her boyfriend spoke. One night she was over for dinner without him and mentioned how her boyfriend was passionate and sometimes put his fist through their walls. After that comment she came to help me dodishes and I was like, that's not normal. You walk? Last time I punched a wall I was a 14-year-old boy. She eventually left him, but the fact that she always demurred to him, to me, is a red flag.